We're doing some more race-based roleplay today, and I think we'll be handling the hardest race there is, humans. Welcome to the Attic Dungeon. My name is Sam, and whether you want to philosophize about the human condition or appeal to my humanity, I'm here to help you with everything. Yes, today you see a human talking about role-playing humans. Because how hard can it be to roleplay the race that you are yourself, right? Actually, starting off with this episode, you'll probably think, but Sam, can you even sum up defining features of the human race in fantasy, maybe more specific? Because we're always just a generic insert here, leader race of the party in any comic or cartoon or book, what have you. Look, you're a human, here's your elf and your dwarf friend, and off you go and you can have some adventures. So, first off, of course, we have to look for those defining qualities of humankind in fantasy. They're not that hard to find. Some of them are just deducted from actual life, others are clearly fantasy made because the easy one, we come in all walks of life. You are the race that canonically is the least defined by culture and strong heritage. You know, we're not the dwarves that have ancestors before us who have gone for ages and generations, and you're the 8th descendant of Clan Stormhammer, so you must wield the Stormhammer. That's not humans in general. Doesn't mean you can't have exceptions. Everything is possible with humans, that's the obvious thing. Every trope that you can't have that you shouldn't have or won't have as a human, there's always bound to be an exception somewhere, because you're humans. But in general, we can be anything. Good, bad, ugly, beautiful, tall, short, whatever. Nice and mean, it's all there. It's the human condition. Every class fits a human, whereas some people still go, gnome barbarian, bit of an odd choice. Nobody will say like, human wizard, bit of an odd choice. No, everything fits because you're humans, you can do everything. And that is one of the main features in fantasy of humans in general. They are flexible. They are the race that can fit into any role. They are the jack of all trades. Then if we go a bit more historical, humans have excellent endurance. Yes, humans, I said, not dwarves. Obviously, dwarves are always the race that gets this weird constitution. Well, weird, it makes sense. Constitution bonus, but humans are actually really durable. If you look back to our hunter days a few tens of thousands years ago, we were not lions or tigers. We didn't jump our prey and kill it in the blink of an eye. No, we attacked it a bit. Harried it here and there, then it ran away and we chased it and did the same thing again until the bloody thing was exhausted. That is how humans hunted. Very little animal species do that, let alone other fantasy races. They're all about accuracy, like elves, or fancy tech, like gnomes and dwarves, to be efficient. And here's humans just hounding you until you die, really. So we are flexible and durable. That is why humans often have kingdoms in the weirdest of places in fantasy stuff. Desert kingdom might be humans. Mountain kingdom, dwarves may be humans. Underwater kingdom, hard. Probably gonna be sea elves or something like it. But you get the idea. Humans are everywhere because they can adapt. And they are durable. Humans are always inquisitive as well. There's a reason Pandora's box was opened by a human and not by a satyr, a minotaur, a dryad, or any other Greek mythological creature. The nature of humans is to be inquisitive and curious, which can lead to wonderful discoveries, which is why humans often have an affinity for science. They are rarely the most technologically advanced race, usually left up to gnomes and dwarves, but they are curious and can again be flexible and adapt to the technology. But it can also spell certain doom, of course, because curiosity also causes us to get into trouble. Oh well, good fun for us. Almost every fantasy story has this one large human kingdom, like the main human kingdom ruled by a human king, usually at the center of where it's all happening, and important, enjoying good diplomatic relations with other species. Humans in a lot of fantasy stories are easygoing. They make contact with other races very easily. they don't suffer from, let's say, dwarves and elves, ancient animosity, or dwarves and orcs, or dwarves and giants. There's a lot of angry dwarves out there, but you get the idea. There's a lot of races that hate each other. Humans are capable of interacting with all of them. Might be that it's an evil human even interacting with the evil races, but you get the idea. We're flexible, we're diplomatic, and we hound you to death. That's good stuff, really. That gives us something to work with. So being a human, even in fantasy, is not just being bland and being there. You can do anything, and there's a few basic concepts you can fall back to. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, that even if you're playing Bob the Human Fighter, the most generic character in role-playing history, you don't have to be boring and bland. Even Bob can have an interesting background because he's a human. Of course, we're looking at some specific hooks again. That's what I use as a base for these racial role-playing videos. Sounds a bit like a weird king though, racial roleplay, but that's not the case. So just like with the dwarves, I'm going to provide you with some adventuring hooks of why your human might want to leave their home, their kingdom, their seat of power, their miserable hovel. Who cares? They're bound to leave, and I'm going to tell you why. Oh, the humanity! I slipped my promotional bit right into the middle of my video this time, you scoundrel, you! Anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel and you like some of what I do, yes, please do. If you like everything that I do, subscribe, click the bell, leave a comment, send me a private message, I don't care, just make me happy, damn it. Also, thank you for watching. Being the most flexible race around, it's obviously very hard to make story hooks that are unhuman, or inhuman if you want, because they'll do anything. So I just summed up a few cool things you can play as a human that will get you out of your adventuring door quicker than you say, oh dear, he's a human fighter named Bob. Humans are ideal to serve as diplomats or envoys. Usually for their own kingdom, but hey, here you are brokering peace between strange races. Maybe those warring orcs and elves really need to pipe it down because all the blood seeping into the soil is going to summon a demon lord. Who will you send? The human diplomat. So you could also just be an envoy sent out by the human kingdom to partake in a certain quest to make sure that the human kingdoms are represented, because diplomacy is such an important thing for humans that they are sure to send someone out every time to go and meddle in what other races are doing. Sounds very human? I thought so. But in general, the diplomat or the diplomatic envoy is a really human thing to do. It also gives you a bit of leeway if you want to role play into politics or into courtesy, which can be really fun. You're this very polite human barbarian, for example. You do the greatest of diplomacy talks, but in battle you chop off their heads, because here you are, Jim Bob, the envoy of the human king. Works fine in my book. If you don't want to be the peace-loving one, let's go for humans holding a grudge. A lot of fantasy stuff will tell you the dwarves hold the greatest grudges, possibly because they just live longer. Now I know that the Warhammer dwarves, for example, have the grudge book in which they just write their grudges. That's taking it to a next level for sure. But if we go back to the prehistoric hunter guys who just chased an animal until it gave up, that is so very easy to translate into any human holding a grudge will hold it and will chase you down until you are dead. This could be any grudge, but this obviously also opens the way for all those fun bounty hunter roles that you can play. But still, I think humans are really nice. Percy in Vox Machina is also quite holding a grudge in the first season. You know, you're a human, you're quite capable of being angry at something for the next 30 or 40 years. So embrace it. This allows you to really root yourself into whatever world your dungeon master is creating, because you give the dungeon master a really valuable NPC to lure you with. You will have a quest apart from the main quest. Maybe your bounty is your main quest, or your begrudged thing is the main quest. But it's a nice strong hook. It gives you an easy backstory. Why do you hold a grudge and who's the grudge against? And off you go. Don't forget that doesn't mean you only have to play the lone wolf stereotype the entire time. You can be a friendly and jolly fellow and still hold a nasty grudge. But hey, if you want to be the lone ranger type of grudge bearer, go for it. It's okay. Just don't block off every social event in the party, right? Humans are inquisitive, I said. They like to go out and search for stuff. So it makes sense that some humans would just go out to discover things, to find things. Maybe they want to discover ancient ruins belonging to former human kingdoms or to other races' kingdoms. Who cares? If we can tow it away, we'll drag it to our museum, right? That's the human spirit. So you're just out there to discover things, and that is really okay. Whether it's for historical purposes, for scientific purposes, it doesn't matter. Humans are explorers. And again, because they're pretty durable and flexible, they can weasel their way out of any situation whilst doing so. So if your expedition is just out there to explore, or the quest is sending you to a far off land that you've always wanted to discover, here you are. The human will more easily leave their home for something like this than a dwarf would leave their mountain, an elf would leave their forest. You know, other races in my head are always a bit more home-based, except some weird halflings, but the human doesn't matter. The orc will matter. Like, he doesn't like to, the orc, all orcs matter. The orc doesn't want to leave their clan necessarily there, but the human doesn't really mind leaving their home to explore if they're of the right mind. And since you can do anything, you're always of the right mind. What I've used for the dwarves as well, but it surely fits humans, is the one where you settle new lands. In a lot of fantasy, humans are a race that breeds really easily. They are everywhere, they breed like rabbits, which also means they need new terrain, new colonies, new cities to house people. Of course, you can be the conquering human, part of an army. Maybe you're scouting out places for your king's army to conquer. Maybe you're a scout looking for new places to settle, and obviously this time we're not just limited to mountains. I already said that humans will settle pretty much anywhere near water, basically. So there you go, you're discovering lands. You can bring a report to your king and tell them, look, Majesty, there's a few lovely places we can settle there. Fertile lands over there next to a volcano, or a desert next to a nice river. Wonderful, lovely, out we go. Or maybe you're part, and I would love to play that actually, but then I can't dungeon master it. I would love to play this. We're settling a new colony story arc where you're just out there surviving in the wilds, slowly building up your new colony. Also very apt for humans because again, you're flexible, you're inquisitive, you're out there creating a space to live for all your new human friends that are coming over in a bit as soon as you give the all clear. There you are. That's some easy hooks. General hooks for humans to fit into a storyline. Obviously humans fit into any storyline, but I wanted to give you some more specific things. Maybe the last two are very specific, especially the last one, like settling new lands is a very specific hook, and obviously you have to there has to be a game you can run this in, but all the other hooks can kind of easily squeeze into any type of story where you play an interesting, wonderful, non-bland human fighter named Roberto the Strong, vanquisher of kobolds and chaser of dragons. There you are. Bob the Fighter is no longer boring. If all goes well, dear people, I'll see you all again in 2 weeks in the Attic Dungeon.